In a world overrun by magic, demonic caves have become a plague, spawning countless monsters. But in the face of an SSS-class demon king like Belphegor, humanity has its own answer, the elite Divine Corps. Our boy Bai is the leader of this legendary squad, and he's been fighting this war for a solid 10 years. The Demon King unleashes a tidal wave of elemental beasts, but the team is unfazed. With a single command from Bai, the Divine Corps' operation begins, charging straight into the belly of the beast. This is their 100th high-level demonic cave, and the L-class lightning assassin, Ling Yua, is ready to get her hands dirty. She confirms to her captain that this has been officially designated as an L-class purge operation. No holding back. The team's L-class cloud mage, Han Shaoling, immediately reshapes the battlefield, unleashing a world of glaciers to lock the enemy down. As the grunts are frozen solid, another member prepares a devastating strike from above, glowing with immense power. It's the support Lucian, using his gravity magic to massively boost his teammates' attack, turning a simple sword drop into a world-ending meteor. The gravity-infused sword slams down, unleashing a cataclysmic explosion that rips the earth apart. Pillars of raw energy erupt from the ground, signaling a direct hit on the Demon King. But that was just the opening act. Our boy Bai steps forward, his eyes glowing with lethal intent. He unleashes his own power. A final blinding flash that completely vaporizes the target, and his class is finally revealed. Divine Corps Commander Bai, an L-class nuclear saint. With the SSS-class demon, King Belphegor confirmed eliminated. The whole squad regroups on the scorched battlefield. One of the brawlers in the group just scoffs, complaining that the fight was over way too quickly to be any fun. Lucian, ever the analyst, points out that this was a top-rated mission that was supposed to push them to their limits. He turns to his commander, asking if he also thinks this victory feels a little too easy. Bai silently agrees. The intel mentioned a special demon with 5 elements and a hidden skill, but they saw none of it. Just as the team is questioning their easy win, the brawler gets the captain's attention. She gets uncomfortably close, asking if he's treating everyone to a feast or if it's a private date. She even whispers the suggestion right in his ear, making our boy completely lose his cool. Bai shoves her away, flustered, and announces they'll all meet at the usual spot in the holy capital. She just smirks, calling it another failed ambush and teasing him for being clueless with women. But the lighthearted moment is cut short as Bai suddenly stops, sensing something is off. He looks back at the battlefield, realizing the guy who was supposed to handle cleanup never followed them. The others just laugh it off, saying he's always the slowest and the best at slacking off, but they're dead wrong. The so-called slacker is watching them from a cliff above. He raises his hand, activating a purge operation as a sinister green energy begins to swirl. The so-called slacker reveals his true colors with a sinister, chilling grin. With a snap of his fingers, he gives the command, and the purge operation commences. In a flash, the entire team is brutally impaled, caught completely off guard by the ambush. Bai the brawler and Lucian can only watch their faces a mask of pure shock. The team scholar is the first to fall, bleeding out on the ground amidst his scattered research. As Bai sees, the traitor's voice rings out, claiming this is a true mission from God. Our boy tries to draw his sword, but his body is completely frozen, refusing to obey. The traitor reveals his disgusting plan. He's been lacing their breakfast with paralytic powder for a month. He then unleashes his divine skill, flower, forbidden vines, causing massive roots to erupt. His one and only goal, he declares, is to eliminate the strongest of them all. The traitor sneers that this level of betrayal required absolute preparation, as his vines render them unconscious and defenseless. He declares this a holy decree from God himself, an L-class purge operation meant just for them. Bai can only watch in horror as Lingua and Lucian are crushed by the tightening vines. The roots then violently fling his helpless teammates through the air like trash. Our boy is frozen in place, splattered with the blood of his own comrades. The traitor's eyes are cold and empty, showing not a shred of remorse for his actions. In the next instant, Lingua is brutally impaled, blood pouring from her mouth. The entire squad is skewered and held aloft, a grotesque display for the traitor as Bai whispers in disbelief. His shock finally shatters, replaced by pure rage as he screams, demanding to know why. He roars that the Divine Corps never broke any rules. Questioning which god would authorize this slaughter, he screams with everything he has, demanding to know what right they have to do this to his squad. The traitor simply calls him an old friend, his voice dripping with condescending pity. He mocks Bai for being so naive as glowing green vines erupt and ensnare our boy completely. Before Bai can even react, The vines launch him violently through the air. The traitor's voice echoes, musing that when a god decides to kill you, there's no need for a reason. A thought that ends as Bai is brutally impaled on a waiting blade. Turns out another one of his comrades was lying in wait. A swordsman ready to deliver the final blow. Coughing up blood, Bai can only ask if their 10 years as a family meant absolutely nothing. The traitor scoffs at the idea of comrades, asking if Bai still doesn't get why he was chosen for this. The horrifying truth finally dawned on Bai, as the traitor reveals a god has been moving these pieces from their very first meeting. The traitor coldly states that Bai and the others were nothing more than pawns from the very beginning. His fellow swordsman chimes in, revealing his only purpose was to gain our boy's complete trust for this exact moment. The gardener scoffs, admitting that having to act the part of friend for so long was an utterly disgusting task. He leans in close, telling Bai that the entire charade made him sick to his stomach. With a final brutal motion, the gardener ends the conversation in our boy's life. A quick flash reveals the rest of his team, all slaughtered, with a mission report confirming the purge is complete. Bai's world shatters as a final fatal blow pierces straight through his head. His body lies motionless on the cold ground, a testament to the absolute betrayal he just suffered. But as his consciousness fades into nothing, a mysterious voice echoes from the void, offering him a deal. Suddenly, our boy finds himself bound in chains in a dark dimension, completely dumbfounded as to where he is. A voice cuts through the darkness, and our boy realizes he's not in the void, but bound by ethereal chains. The owner of the voice appears, a smug-looking man in a suit, greeting him with a chilling familiarity. Bai's eyes widen in pure disbelief. He knows this man, and he's supposed to be dead. He spits out the name of his old nemesis, Belelphegor, who just scoffs that an SSS-class Demon King doesn't go down that easily. Turns out this entire dimension is Bellegor's sole domain, a kingdom built from his very life force. Cutting through the chatter, Bai demands to know what he wants, and Belelphegor grins, sensing their hatred is cut from the same cloth. The Demon King proposes a transaction, revealing his ultimate hidden skill, life regression. He offers to send Bai back in time, giving him a chance to undo the betrayal and save everyone he lost. Leaning in close, the devil makes his pitch, asking if our boy is interested in a second chance. A memory of his fallen comrade flashes through Bai's mind, the pain of her loss fueling his resolve. The faces of his friends flash before his eyes, their innocent smiles twisting the knife in his gut. He remembers his whole squad, humanity's strongest, a time when they stood united against the world. Then comes the betrayal, the chilling grin of the traitor who brought it all crashing down. A brutal montage plays in his mind. His comrades, his family, all cut down in a storm of violence. Snapping back to the present, Bai's rage boils over. He vows to kill the man responsible for it all. He then declares he'll also destroy the so-called gods who were pulling the strings from their high seats. A wicked grin spreads across Bellegor's face. Clearly satisfied with our boy's burning hatred, the Demon King says that's the answer he was looking for and decides to throw in an extra gift. He offers up a pulsating demonic heart, calling it a little welcoming present to seal their new contract. Bai takes the heart, but he's no fool. He demands to know what this power is truly going to cost him. With a sinister grin, Belelphegor explains the cost is simple, his current pathetic life. Suddenly, Bai's consciousness is pulled back as a distant voice calls his name, telling him to wake up. A woman's sharp voice cuts through the haze, yelling for him to get on his feet in what looks like a classroom. Our boy's eyes fly open in disbelief. The Demon King wasn't lying. He really came back. He stares down at his own hands. No longer the calloused limbs of a seasoned warrior, but those of a teenager. The realization hits him like a truck he's been sent back to the time before he even awakened his powers. His teacher, a woman he hasn't seen in years, is absolutely fuming, scolding him for napping before the awakening ceremony. Dumbfounded, he looks up at Teacher Hong, a ghost from a past he thought was long gone. It all clicks into place. He's not just dreaming. He's actually returned to his middle school days. As he gets to his feet, he understands this was Bellegor's power, a complete rebirth into his past self. He looks around the classroom, his mind still reeling from the fact that this impossible situation is actually real. Our boy stands, a bittersweet feeling washing over him as he sees classmates he hasn't laid eyes on in nearly 20 years. Teacher Huang slams her foot on a desk, her voice cutting through the chatter as she demands everyone's complete attention. She begins her lecture on the 5 core elemental powers of the world: lightning, flower, cloud, nuclear, and stellar. Bai listens intently, already knowing the fundamental rule that every awakened person can only ever possess one element. To demonstrate, She proudly flexes her own power, manifesting the rare cloud element as a shimmering ice crystal. She explains these elements are further classified into 3 roles: combat, support, and special, which combine to form countless professions. Teacher Huang even hypes up the school's strongest team, a legendary lineup of 4 different elemental masters. She tells the students they're already elites among millions just for having the potential to awaken their powers. But the real challenge starts now, as their future professions will be ranked from the trash tier, dust to the godlike celestial. Teacher Hang drives the point home, telling them that each and every one of them is on the cusp of their destiny. The pressure is immense. She reminds them they only get one single chance to awaken their power. She declares that what happens this afternoon will determine their entire future status in this brutal world. The scene shifts to our boy Bei, who's already seen this song and dance before. He's walking through the school grounds, lost in thought, finding the whole situation deeply nostalgic. Turns out this is the very same place where he first awakened his own legendary powers. His trip down memory lane is cut short when he sees a poor 4-eyed kid getting tossed aside. Bai just scoffs, completely unimpressed by the trash tier bullies picking on the weak. The lead punk sneers at the fallen student, calling him useless for relying on an artificial awakening. He then grinds his foot on the kid's hand, daring Bei for blocking his path and acting tough before he's even awakened. The punk Hong Chang gloats that with his rare red tier awakening, everyone else is just an insect to him. The terrified student immediately apologizes and hands over his money, which seems to satisfy the bully for a moment. But our boy Bei is watching from a distance, and a flicker of recognition crosses his face. This punk was a problem in his past life too. He muses that some people are just cut from a different cloth, always looking for trouble as he steps forward. Suddenly, a sharp voice cuts through the tension, telling Hong Chong X, "That's enough." It's Teacher Huang, and she is absolutely livid, reminding him that this is a school, not some back alley shakedown. Hong Chong X just smirks at her, casually flicking the cash he just stole. He tries to play the victim, claiming the nerdy kid was the one who bumped into his crew. So, isn't it only fair? He argues that he compensates them with some bubble tea money. Leaning in close, he asks if she wants to play hero, adding that if she wasn't so hot, have used his connections to get her fired ages ago. Hong Chong Shan just laughs it off, telling his crew they'll give the teacher face for now and back off. But as he turns to leave, his eyes lock on a Bai, who's been watching the whole pathetic display. The punk grabs our boy's shoulder, demanding to know what he's staring at. Bai just shoves his hand away, and the bully, dumbfounded for a second, decides to leave, promising to come back and laugh at the weaklings later. With the trash gone, Bai apologizes to Teacher Huang, but she knows it wasn't his fault. As she comforts the nerdy kid, a memory flashes through Bai's mind. Teacher Huang always seemed tough, but she was the one who helped him the most after his awakening. Just then, a voice calls out, announcing that it's finally their class turn for the awakening chamber. As they walk, Teacher Huang gives them a final warning. Stay completely calm during the process to avoid any injuries. Our boy listens, but his mind is already elsewhere, thinking about the 2 different awakening methods that exist in this world. The first type, he recalls, is a natural awakening, the kind that lucky trash tier punks like Hong Chong X get. This natural method, he muses, usually happens to those with strong bodies or natural talent triggered by extreme emotional stress. The second type, however, is the one he's about to face, the awakening chamber. It's an artificial method, the culmination of countless scientists' work designed to force an awakening. Inside, the chamber violently stimulates a person's emotions and adrenaline, pushing them to their absolute limit. This process forcibly unlocks their latent potential, manifesting their hidden powers. The problem is, you only get one shot, and the result is completely random, locking you into a profession for life. Just then, a student stumbles out, ecstatic that he managed to get a blue-tier ember profession, and Teacher Huang tells him to go rest. Bai watches on, knowing this is why the awakening is called life's only reset button, a single moment that defines your future. The newly awakened student smirks at our boy, smugly, telling him that he's up next. Teacher Huang cuts in, grabbing Bai's attention with a stern warning to focus and not slack off like he does in class. Bai calmly tells his teacher he knows, but his mind is already light years ahead of her lecture. He remembers his past life, where he awakened as a trash-tier E-rank nuclear warrior, leading to endless bullying. It wasn't until he reached the pinnacle of strength that he finally unlocked his true rare potential. Stepping into the chamber, he wonders what profession he'll get this time. Certain he at least has the nuclear element. But as the awakening begins, he feels a strange pressure building, something different from before. A cold sweat drips down his face as his body starts reacting violently to the process. Suddenly, a system notification pops up. Dumbfounded, he sees it has detected not one, but 5 elements within him. An unbearable heat surges through his body as he struggles to understand what's happening. His eyes widen in shock as a new message declares the Infinite Awakening system has been activated. A massive screen appears before him, revealing he possesses 5 elemental types and can choose any class he wants. The system explains that once he accumulates enough power for an element, he can get a whole new class. Our boy is completely dumbfounded, trying to wrap his head around elemental accumulation. He realizes this means he's not just picking one class. He can literally collect them in the future. The system then shows him the insane range of possibilities from trash tier all the way up to a legendary special quality class. Suddenly, the Demon King Belelfiger appears in his soul, revealing he's the one giving our boy this final push. Bai clutches his chest as the raw power of the 5 elements floods his body, a gift from his past life nemesis. He sees visions of his future potential, a master of countless fighting styles, thanks to his infinite awakenings. The system warns him that after this first choice, all his elemental bars will reset to 0. With a smirk, Bai understands the stakes. This first step has to be perfect. Meanwhile, outside the awakening room, a couple of other students are getting annoyed, wondering what's taking him so long. The door slides open, and our boy Bai, he finally steps out looking cool as ever. His teacher Hang rushes over, eagerly asking what incredible class he awakened. But Bai puts on a somber face, telling her he's sorry to be such a disappointment. With a wicked grin, he reveals he awakened as a nuclear warrior, the absolute worst of the green quality classes. The hope instantly drains from teacher Hang's face. She was clearly expecting a prodigy. Still, she tries to cheer him up, insisting that even low rankers can become legends if they don't give up. Bai just plays along with the pity party, telling her she doesn't have to try and comfort him. She pats his shoulder, telling him to get some rest, completely buying his trash tier act. Internally, though, our boy is bursting with laughter, finding her misplaced sympathy absolutely hilarious. Just then, the local bully Hong Chong X shows up, mocking the teacher's work hard speech. Bai just scoffs internally at her useless toxic positivity. The bully tells the teacher she knows better than to spout such nonsense. He and his goons laugh, declaring that reality isn't some feel-good story. Getting right in Bai's face, he spells it out. Being dust rank means you're absolute trash. He sneers that the gods only choose the strong, leaving the weak to be humiliated. But the mention of God strikes a nerve with Bai, whose eyes flash with a hidden fire. Teacher Hang steps in, demanding to know why he's here, but he just grins and reminds her of the new seeding rule for dust ranks. Our boy plays dumb and asks why that is, forcing the teacher to confront the unfair system. The bully explains that this is just how society works. No power, no background, no future. He lays out the brutal truth. The strong get all the resources while the weak are doomed to be bottom feeders from start. Hong Chong Shan mocks the very idea of a dust rank changing their fate, asking if anyone actually believes that garbage. Teacher Huang adds to the bleak outlook, stating that one's future is decided at birth, and this academy is just a microcosm of that truth. He then gets right in her face, taunting her for being a glimmer rank and nothing more than a useless salaried worker. Turning back to Bai, he says dust ranks should just go home and stop wasting the government's resources. But before he can finish his tirade, a hand suddenly clamps down hard on his drink. In a flash, our boy smashes the entire cup right into the bully's face, leaving him completely stunned. The sticky liquid drips down Hong Chong Shang's face as the shock begins to wear off. He stumbles back in a rage, demanding to know what the hell Bai thinks he's doing. Bai calmly wipes his hand on his uniform, stating coldly that he just doesn't like listening to him talk. Instead of being intimidated, the bully just lets out a maniacal laugh. Absolutely furious and ready for a fight. Enraged, Hong Chong Shan screams and throws a punch, his fist crackling with purple energy. But our boy reacts in a flash, shoving the nerdy student he was bullying out of the way. The bully unleashes his Starthorn strike, sneering that this trash tear is courting death. Bai's golden eyes just narrow, completely unfazed by the incoming E-rank attack. He materializes a golden blade out of thin air, effortlessly blocking the strike. Hong Chang's smug grin instantly vanishes, replaced by pure, unadulterated shock. He can't comprehend how a supposed dust rank could possibly stop his signature move. With a simple flick of his wrist, Bai parries the blow, completely shattering his stance. Our boy just gives him a cold, dead stare, looking utterly unimpressed. A wave of golden energy erupts, sending the bully tumbling across the pavement like trash. The bully and his entire crew are left scattered on the ground, and even the teacher is on her knees in shock. Hong Chong-shan coughs up a mouthful of blood, the impact rattling his entire body. His mind is completely broken, unable to process how a dust rank could possess such overwhelming power. All he can think is what? As he stares at our boy standing there, radiating a calm golden aura, Bai just stands there unfazed while the entire area is in an uproar over what just happened. The onlookers are completely losing their minds, shouting in confusion about how he pulled that off. Bai calmly explains that he chose this nuclear warrior class himself, a path that grants him a basic light sword. He then smirks, adding that he's simply used to this kind of power, but the bully's ego is too big to accept defeat. He staggers up, laughing like a madman, and claiming it was just a lucky dodge. He roars that he's a rare abyss rank, a completely different breed from trash tier nobodies like Bai. But from the sidelines, Teacher Huang knows that what just happened was absolutely not luck. Her eyes widen in shock as she realizes he used a top-tier movement skill exclusive to the warrior class. Turns out our boy executed a perfect parry, a Heil technique that requires impossible timing to nullify an attack. She's completely baffled, wondering how a rookie on his first day could possibly pull off such a veteran move. Meanwhile, the bully is done talking, summoning his Astro Assassin bayonet and asking our boy if he's prepared to die. He screams that he's going to make this piece of trash crawl in front of everyone. Bai just smirks, coolly, stating that of course he has his reasons for choosing this supposedly weakest class. He warns the fool that judging someone's future by their birth is a grave mistake he's about to regret for years. The two square off, their auras flaring as the onlookers realize a real fight is about to go down. The other students start to panic, remembering that using awakened powers for private brawls is strictly forbidden by the school. The onlookers know this is a death sentence. Hong Chong Sheng and LT, Unk and GT. S family is powerful, while our boy Bai has absolutely nothing. The nerdy kid starts freaking out, realizing that if Bai fights back, he's getting expelled for sure. Teacher Huang looks on with deep concern, knowing this is a trap designed to ruin Bai's future. She quickly steps between them, trying to remind everyone that they're supposed to be comrades who just awakened together. But Hong Chong-shan is having none of it, questioning if she's serious after this piece of trash provoked him in front of everyone. He declares that even begging won't save Bai. Now he's going to teach him the insurmountable difference between the chosen and a loser. The sheer, unadulterated rage on his face shows he's dead serious about crippling our boy. Teacher Huang thinks to herself that he's not wrong. The huge gap in power comes from the difference in attribute bonuses. A quick scan reveals Bai's class is Dust rank, the lowest tier, which give a 100% bonus, meaning no bonus at all. She knows that a Glimmer rank gets a 150% boost, making Bai's starting point seem utterly hopeless. And it's even worse than she thought. Hong Chong X's Abyss rank gives him a staggering 200% attribute bonus. From a moment of awakening, his base stats are double that of a Dust rank like our boy, a gap that should be impossible to close. Bai's nerdy friend can only watch in horror. Realizing it's completely over, Bai is outmatched in power and background. He face palms, wondering why Bai would ever provoke someone so much stronger, even if the guy is absolute trash. His mind flashes back to his own philosophy for survival. You have to learn to avoid the garbage of society. But when you can't avoid them, as he learned the hard way, you have to swallow every last drop of humiliation to get by. He concludes that a direct fight is the most foolish choice because only those who bend can endure. Back in reality, Hong Chong X activates his ferocity skill, sneering that all that awaits Bai is even greater humiliation. Teacher Hong can only scream in desperation for Bai to watch out as the killing blow comes flying. Our boy knows a direct parry is a fool's game. Hong's attack is too strong and would drain all his stamina. The bully lunges forward, screaming that it's over, and there's no way Bai can possibly dodge this attack, but Bai just smirks, almost laughing at the very concept of needing to dodge. He scoffs at the idea, because why would he dodge when he can just be faster, activating his swiftness skill? Turns out swiftness was just the appetizer. At max proficiency, it becomes flash blink, letting him phase through his opponent instantly. Hong Chong-shan is left completely dumbfounded, his brain unable to process how Bai just appeared behind him. Before he can even turn around, Bai lands a single brutal chop to the back of his neck, sending him crashing down. The bully lies in a heap on the ground, spitting blood as our boy coldly calls him what he is, trash. With an ice-cold stare, Bai finishes his thought, declaring that trash belongs in the trash can. The onlookers are completely clueless, wondering if Hong just tripped over his own feet, unable to even perceive Bei and LT, Unk and GT's movements. Even teacher Huang is dumbfounded, admitting she couldn't see what happened. While the nerdy kid just gawks in disbelief, but one person, the class president Shi, seems to have caught a glimpse. Her eyes locked onto our boy with intense curiosity. Turns out Bai didn't just use swiftness. He used its advanced form, a skill called Flash Blink that triggers at max proficiency. This insane skill lets him phase through opponents and obstacles in an instant, leaving them completely vulnerable. And that's exactly how our boy took down the bully in a single clean move, leaving him bleeding on the pavement. Chi-In is floored, realizing not only did he master a warrior's ultimate skill, but he also held back just enough. Bei's inner thoughts reveal he intentionally avoided breaking any school rules, much to the confusion of the clueless crowd. A system window pops up, showing he gained EXP and 50 Astro Element points for crushing an E-class opponent. But Bai is far from impressed, thinking the points are trashed here and that he needs to start clearing labyrinths for real power. Just as he turns to leave, Hong Chong staggers back to his feet, screaming that this fight isn't over yet. Refusing to accept defeat, Hong Chong Shan grips his sword, his knuckles white with rage. He lunges forward, screaming that he's going to kill Bai, his body crackling with a pathetic amount of energy. But a stern voice cuts through the chaos as the dean of the academy, Hong Ling, arrives and asks if he's made enough of a fool of himself. The bully is stunned, stammering out the word uncle, while Bai's eyes narrow, recognizing this powerful figure from his past life. The dean immediately takes control, telling the gawking students the show is over and that they should all head home. He encourages them to go tell their families about their awakenings, effectively clearing the area of any witnesses. The word home strikes a chord with Bai, triggering a deep and forgotten memory. With the crowd gone, the dean turns his cold, calculating gaze directly onto our boy. He grabs Bei by the hair, reminding him that fighting is forbidden, but our boy's mind is elsewhere. Realizing he isn't even registered as a student yet, a lightning bolt of realization hits Bei. If he's back in the past, then his old comrades are all still alive, still in the dean's grasp. Our boy realizes with dawning horror that he's forgotten the most important thing of all. Without a second thought, he breaks free and sprints away, completely ignoring the dean, yelling at him to get back here. The dean turns to teacher Huang, who is utterly speechless at her student's sudden and disrespectful departure. He furiously tells her to get her student under control, warning that he'll pretend nothing happened this one time. Mortified, teacher Huang can only bow her head and apologize for the trouble Bai has caused. Meanwhile, in the dean's office, Hong Chong Shan is seething, still convinced that the kid just got lucky. Hess absolutely fuming, refusing to believe there's any way he could have lost to some trash tier nobody. Slamming his fist on the desk, he yells that the whole situation is complete, but his uncle, the dean, calmly asks if he has any idea what that kid actually did to him the moment he charged. He reveals that our boy didn't just dodge. He used the high-level assassin skill Flash. The dean explains that in the split second before contact, our boy found the single weakest point in his defense and struck it with absolute precision. Hong Chong Shang is dumbfounded as his uncle reveals that entire beatdown was done using only a warrior's basic skills, executed with a mastery even a veteran like himself couldn't replicate. He drives the point home, saying their fight was as ridiculous as watching a pro gamer toy with an elementary schooler using only the default controls. The dean concludes that the kid is not as simple as he seems. While elsewhere, Bai sprints through the city with a desperate purpose. As he runs, he questions himself. After being reborn, besides getting revenge, what is it that he absolutely must do? He finally skids to a halt, having reached his destination in a quiet residential area. Catching his breath, the answer finally dawns on him. The true reason he was sent back in time. A traumatic flash of memory hits him. A scene of utter carnage and his own bloody demise from his previous life. His face hardens with resolve. He knows there's something he must prevent from happening again, even if it costs him his life. The scene shifts to an unknown man watching TV, completely oblivious to the fact that the clock is ticking down to a catastrophic event. The man, who we now see as Bai's father, is just laughing his head off at some show on TV, completely oblivious. In the kitchen, his mother is quietly washing dishes, the very picture of the peaceful life Bai lost. But that peace is about to be shattered from the inside out. As Bai himself appears at the window, staring in, his father spots him, casually remarking that he's back from school a bit early today. For Bai, though, this isn't just coming home. His fists are clenched with the weight of a grim future. He gazes at his mother, and the reality of seeing her again alive and unharmed hits him like a freight train. Overwhelmed with emotion, he can barely process that his mom is standing right in front of him. She turns with a gentle smile, telling him she's so glad he's alive. A line that cuts deeper than she could ever know. In a simple, loving gesture, she offers him a plate of food, a kindness he thought was gone forever. Using sign language, she lets him know she made his favorite noodles, and the weight of what he has to protect crashes down on him. With a grim resolve, our boy knows he has to change the course of this day. Starting with one small detail, he puts on a brave face and tells his mom he wants to eat pickled fish, a request that's more than just a craving. His mother gently signs back that maybe they can have it tomorrow since she's already made noodles. But Bai insists with a chilling intensity, telling her he absolutely has to eat it today. Seeing his strange desperation, she gives in with a loving sigh, signing that he's being impossible. As she prepares to head out for ingredients, Bai immediately says he'll go with her, refusing to let her leave his sight. Suddenly, his father's voice cuts in from the couch, telling him to let his mother go by herself. The old man scolds him for being weird and not even bothering to say hello when he got home. Then his dad's expression changes as he remembers, asking if today was his big awakening day. He gets right up in Bai's face, eagerly demanding to hear the good news about his results. Without even waiting for an answer, his dad grabs a couple of beers from the fridge to get the celebration started. He proudly announces he's Bing, a class electric warrior, and that he rushed home just for this moment. But our boy has to break the news, coldly stating that he didn't awaken today. Bai lies through his teeth, claiming the ceremony took too long and he missed his chance, leaving his father dumbfounded. The man's face darkens as he mutters about some other kid awakening as a glimmer rank class. A painful memory flashes through Bai's mind, remembering his father's past words, calling them both worthless. His dad's pride roars to life, boasting that his son should at least be an abyss rank just like he was. He steps forward menacingly, reminding Bai of all the sacrifices he's made to raise him. Leaning in with a terrifying red aura, he drops the act and demands to know his son's real class. The sheer pressure from his father's rage feels like it's about to crush our boy on the spot. Our boy stands firm, remembering he still hasn't told his father the whole truth. A brutal memory flashes back his father, smashing a bottle right over his head. The old man had sneered at him then, disgusted that he was a bottom-of-the-barrel dust rank. He had screamed in a blind rage, accusing Bai of trying to disgrace him. Back in the present, Bai sees his father for what he is, an awakened, yes, but also a violent man who can't control his emotions, a fact punctuated by another memory of a savage blow. He recalls that awful day in his past life, May 22nd, the moment his father learned he was a dust rank. The man's shame turned into a rampage. Just like always, his mother had to step in to protect him from the old man's fury. But back then, Bai was just a kid, too weak and terrified to do anything but watch. The man's rage wasn't satisfied with just words. He beat his own wife for an entire hour. That day, his mother's leg was broken, and a blow to the head left her mentally scarred for life. And all our boy could do was watch in horror, splattered with his own mother's blood. Snapping back to the present, Bai finds himself in the exact same position on the floor, helpless. His status window confirms it. He's just a level 1 E-class nuclear warrior. His father looms over him, demanding he get up, but Bai knows his plan for this class needs more time. Turns out the old man is a level 26 class electric warrior, a whole different tier of power. Bai realizes this isn't like dealing with some punk at school. His father has real combat experience. The cold, hard truth sinks in. He was dead wrong and stands no chance of winning right now. His father grabs his head, screaming that he should never have been born. And Bai knows this beating won't stop. But through the pain, our boy's only thought is that he absolutely cannot let his mom stay here. He takes the brutal beating, clinging to the small victory that at least he managed to get her out of the house. Suddenly, the sound of a plastic bag hitting the floor cuts through the chaos. Bai looks up completely dumbfounded with what looks like noodles splattered across his face. His mind flashes back to a similar scene from his past life, his father's rage and his mother's terrified face. He stares at the bag of noodles on the ground, his heart sinking. He can't understand it. How did she come back so soon? Did she really return just to feed him? Turns out that's exactly it. His mother couldn't stand the thought of him going hungry and rushed right back. She walks in only to freeze in terror as her husband's cold voice greets her. The monster grabs her, sneering about what kind of trash-tier son she gave birth to. Suddenly, a voice cuts through his mind, recalling how he was the first green tier to ever reach the advancement stage. The voice questions him, asking why he advanced so early when it's usually reserved for a rank blue tiers. Not only that, but he skipped straight from green tier to the legendary platinum tier, a 1 in a million feet. The scene shifts to a dark prison cell where a blindfolded man asks our boy why he ended up on death row. With a dead look in his eyes, Bai mutters that the man he killed deserved to die. His past self seethes with rage, remembering how that monster beat his own mother to death. The memory slams back into the present, and Bai's eyes burn with a furious, vengeful fire. His father, cut from the same trash tier cloth as his past life version, raises a hand to strike his terrified mother. He swings with full force, ready to repeat the exact same tragedy that broke our boy's soul once before. But just before impact, a dark object flies through the air, intercepting the blow with a crack. Turns out it was our boy who took the hit. Thinking how even a low class awakened his leagues above a normal person, he collapses to the floor, coughing up blood. The force of the blow nearly knocking him out cold. His mother screams in terror, rushing to his side as he struggles to get up. She's absolutely horrified, seeing her son's face covered in blood just to protect her. Meanwhile, his father's fist is bruised from punching a wall, a testament to the deadly force he just used. The monster starts ranting, recalling how happy he was when he found out he was having a son. He saw our boy as the B family's one chance to rise from the ashes and regain their former glory. But now he screams that he, Bai Ling Shang, is the only one who can produce a worthy heir. He gets right in his wife's face, roaring that the family's honor now rests solely on his shoulders. His eyes glow with a furious red energy as he questions why fate gave him such a useless son. He screams that it's all her fault, blaming her trashy genes for giving him such a useless son. Completely unhinged, he raises his hand to strike his wife down for this perceived failure. She flinches, bracing for the inevitable impact as his crackling red energy surrounds her. But just then, a new skill activates for our boy. Flash blink, an instant teleport. In a blur of green light, Bai appears between them. His father now sprawled on the floor. Dumbfounded, bloodied but resolute, Bai holds a glowing sword and warns his father not to lay a hand on her. The man's shock quickly turns into a twisted smirk. He actually finds this defiance interesting. His mother can only cry out in terror, watching her son stand up to this monster. A crazed grin spreads across his father's face as he notes that our boy has finally grown up. The standoff begins with Bai protecting his mother while his father powers up, ready for round two. With his mother behind him, Bai steels himself, knowing he just needs to stall for a little more time. His father lunges forward in a blur of red energy, and our boy's only instinct is to block the incoming attack. A new skill, Parry, activates a perfectly timed block could not only nullify the damage, but reflect it right back. But the sheer power gap is a joke. His father's strike smashes through the parry and shatters his sword instantly. The blow lands square in his face, and Bai realizes he's up against a monster several times stronger than him. Turns out his deadbeat dad is a level 26C rank Electro warrior named Buen with a disgusting 400% attribute bonus. The single hit leaves our boy on the ground, coughing up blood with ribs that feel like they're about to snap. His father just laughs, powering up his heavy black lightning as he mocks his son for daring to defy him. He grabs Bai by the head, unleashing a torrent of electricity that fries him on the spot. Well, with a truly demonic grin, Buen Sheng sneers, asking if he was a little too impatient to play the hero. But even as the lightning tears him apart, our boy grits his teeth, absolutely refusing to dodge. His father just scoffs at his backbone, sneering that a weakling with his trash-tier profession deserves to be beaten to death. Bai's eyes burn with resolve. He swears that in this life, he won't let the tragedies of his past repeat. The scene flashes back to another beating, his father grabbing a chair, furious that his son thinks he's special just for awakening. He raises the chair to bring it down on his own family, screaming about who the real boss is while his wife shields their son. But just as he's about to strike, a loud, insistent banging echoes from the front door. The old man is furious, wondering who the hell is here to spoil his mood at a time like this. But Bai, huddled in his mother's arms, knows exactly who it is they're finally here. Enraged by the interruption, his father storms over to the entrance, demanding to know who's making all the racket. The door swings open to reveal two men from the inspectorate, an A-rank deputy captain and a C-rank investigator. Bai's father is completely dumbfounded, stammering as he asks why the deputy captain is at his door. The A-rank officer, Liang, explains they're conducting a house-to-house search for a wanted criminal. He holds up a wanted poster for a highly dangerous individual known only as Snow. The father forces a laugh, trying to play it cool and saying he'd obviously report someone so famous. But in the background, his wife desperately tries to hide a battered and bloody Bai from view. Ling's sharp eyes immediately catch the scene, and he points, asking what in the world happened to the boy. The old man tries to brush it off with a trash-tier lie, claiming his son just took a clumsy fall. But our boy cuts right through the nonsense. his voice cold and clear as he reveals his father hit him. A wave of pure fury washes over the father's face. He's been exposed in front of the authorities. Turns out this was all Bai's master plan. He was the one who made the anonymous tip just 18 minutes ago. The father desperately tries to spin a new lie, claiming his son is just joking and that he'd never lay a hand on him. But our boy calmly points to his own wounds, stating they can all be medically evaluated as proof of the assault. Liang just stares, his silence more damning than any accusation as the father is left utterly speechless. With ice in his veins, Bai perfectly recites the divine canon's regulations for detaining violent awakeners. The two inspectors are completely dumbfounded. This kid knows the law better than they do and is using it like a weapon. The father's mind finally catches up, realizing with pure fury that his own son has brilliantly orchestrated his downfall. Liang has heard enough, formally addressing the man as Bing Shang and placing him under arrest. That's the last straw. The father snaps and lunges for Bai Yi, only to be restrained by the red-haired inspector. He's dragged out kicking and screaming, promising that our boy will pay for this betrayal. The door slams shut, leaving Bai and his terrified mother in the deafening silence of his victory. With the storm past, our boy, still covered in blood, finally turns to his shell-shocked mother. She rushes into his arms, and for a moment, he just holds her, telling her everything is finally okay. But even in this embrace, his mind is racing. He succeeded in protecting her, and now has 15 days to prepare. He promises her this is the last time she'll ever have to fear because he's about to get a whole lot stronger. Turns out our boy wasn't just taking a beating for nothing. His clenched fist tells a different story. During that final struggle, he masterfully swiped the key to his father's safe right off his belt. Now the small golden key rests in his bloody hand. The real prize from this whole ordeal. This key unlocks the very treasure that let his trash-tier father betray his team and jump from E rank to C rank. As soon as his mother calms down, he slips away into his father's room, key in hand. He finds the hidden safe, ready to claim the source of his father's power for himself. He slots the key in, recalling how his father kept this secret so well. He only learned of it after his death in the last timeline. Inside, he finds not money, but a sleek, glowing dagger that hums with power. Our boy grins. With this weapon, he's confident he can finally try to solo the Demon Cave. He knows Demon Caves are the only way to upgrade professions, but they're all controlled by guilds he can't access. The only option left is the school's dungeon, and a secret one he remembers from his past life. He arrives at a dilapidated building, the entrance to the hidden Demon Cave, a place no one else knows about. With a look of pure determination, he knows this is his chance to get ahead of everyone and fast. Meanwhile, at the inspectorate, officers are baffled by a false alarm that even brought out their deputy leader. One of them glances at Bai's father in his cell, stating they can't afford to relax if it's tied to the rebels. On the desk lies a wanted poster for an extremely dangerous individual named Snow, who they fear might appear soon. Back at the inspectorate, one of the officers, Chun Jin-woo, gossip about their captain's early return, but his superior, Ling, quickly shuts him down. From his cell, Bai's father desperately begs the deputy leader for mercy, promising he'll never cause trouble again. He even tries a pathetic bribe, mentioning a top-tier postpartum care center he could get a deal on for the deputy leader's wife. Liang is completely unimpressed, questioning why a former guild member would stoop to bribing the inspectorate. He tells the man to think long and hard about the choices that landed him in a cage before walking away without a second glance. Left alone, Bai's father trembles, the harsh reality of his situation finally sinking in. Chun Jin-woo reminds him that if bribery were discovered, he'd be in far worse trouble, advising him to rest before his transfer to the Awakener prison. But as the officers leave, a dark crimson energy begins to surge from the supposedly broken man. Clenching his fists in fury, he thinks of his son, Bai, a fiery resolve burning away his despair. Meanwhile, Bai's mother lies in bed, knowing her husband gets out in 15 days and vowing to get stronger before then. Back in his room, Bai knows what he has to do to get stronger fast. The Demon Caves are his only option. These caves are dangerous parallel dimensions, and our boy plans to dive right into one. He recalls how most caves are controlled by powerful guilds, making them inaccessible to solo players like him. But the rewards are insane. Demonic beasts and rare ores make them the fastest way for an awakener to level up. Normally, entering one is a bureaucratic nightmare requiring official inspection. But Bai doesn't have time for that. He remembers from his past life that a specific demon cave went undiscovered for 5 whole years. An F-rank cave like this one typically requires a team of 3 E-rank awakeners to clear. A higher tier E-rank cave would need an even stronger party, making it way too risky for him right now. Based on the timeline, our boy is 90% sure this hidden cave is frank, a gamble he's willing to take. He pushes open the hidden entrance, stepping into the lowest level secret dungeon he can currently access. He reaches into the darkness, crossing the threshold into the unknown. Our boy knows these caves are meant for teams, but he's out of options and time. To protect his family, he has to get stronger, and he has to do it alone as fast as possible. The system confirms his entry, displaying his current E-rank stats, which are frankly trashed here. A blast of cold air hits him. He instantly recognizes this as the domain of cloud-type ice beasts. He presses on through the desolate, frozen cavern, sword at the ready, but he's dumbfounded to find the remains of other adventurers scattered around a massive sleeping beast. He immediately identifies it a hibernating ice-field bear, a deadly EB rank monster. Just as luck, the beast begins to stir, its massive paw twitching as it wakes from its slumber. As the bear lunges, he realizes the horrifying truth. This is an E-rank cave, not the F rank he gambled on. Our boy puts it all together. The cave's rank was misjudged because most of its inhabitants were dormant. An ice wolf ambushes him, and he instantly knows this single beast is way out of his league. The monster lunges with blinding speed, its claws ready to tear him to shreds. But his L-class instincts kick in, and he flips clean over the ferocious attack. He twists midair, trying to land a desperate stab on the beast's neck. The wolf is too agile, though, dodging the strike as he lands, ready for round two. Now it's pissed, its glowing eyes locking onto him with pure, killing intent. He braces himself, anticipating the next lunge with his blade held in a perfect parry stance. With a flash of golden light, he unleashes a devastating counter-slash that rips right through the beast. The wolf collapses in a spray of blood, but he's already running deeper into the cave. He checks his new A-rank weapon, the Hanwoo blade, noting it's a massive power-up, but still not enough for a one-shot kill. The system confirms the kill, granting him some pitiful EXP and a wolf tooth, but he knows the grind to dank will be a nightmare. Just as he's processing this, a menacing growl echoes from deeper within the cave. He looks up to find he's staring down an entire pack of E-rank ice wolves with a much bigger alpha leading the charge. It seems the smell of blood from his first kill has just rung the dinner bell for the rest of the family. Our boy grits his teeth, realizing this is no longer a hunt. It's a desperate fight for survival against overwhelming numbers. The first wolf lunges, but he's already gone, its claws shattering the ice where he just stood. He capitalizes on the opening, burying his blade into the beast's side for a clean, critical hit. But two more are instantly on him, forcing him into a tight dodge as their jaws snap shut on empty air. He flows seamlessly from defense to offense, spinning into a devastating counterattack against the next pouncing wolf. He becomes a whirlwind of death, weaving between attacks and landing critical hits on every single wolf. With his stamina draining fast, he knows he has to end this with one last decisive strike. Leaping into the air, he channels all his remaining energy into a single sweeping slash aimed at the entire pack. The attack lands perfectly, and system notifications pop up one after another as the minions are wiped from existence. But just as he catches his breath, the true boss emerges from the shadows. A massive E-rank, bloodthirsty wolf king. The beast lunges with a bone-crushing bite, and it's all our boy can do to parry the attack with his blade. Finding a sliver of an opening, he unleashes a furious combo, shredding the wolf king and snagging a rare diamond drop. He stands amidst the carnage, thinking that all this experience should be more than enough to finally break through to dank. Sure enough, the system confirms his level up, but he's just annoyed that a mere 20 wolves pushed him to his limit. He looks at all the loot scattered around, realizing his trash tier E-rank stamina is a huge problem, and now he needs a dimensional backpack just to carry his rewards. He examines the Snow Wolf Diamond, thinking how guilds monopolize all the good leveling spots, making life hell for solo players. The whole system is rigged. The Awakener School just funnels the best talent straight into the big guilds. He's haunted by the memory of his own father who got kicked out of a guild and was stuck at a pathetic C rank for life. Our boy knows soloing is too slow, and this freezing environment is just burning through his already limited stamina. Suddenly, another pack of ice wolves appears, but this time he has a wicked idea. Instead of fighting head-on, he turns tail and starts running, baiting the entire pack to chase him. Has not just running blindly, has a blur of motion, expertly parrying and dodging every single lunge. His plan is simple. Gather all the trash mobs in one place and create absolute chaos. The forest erupts with the sounds of the chase as he pulls the entire horde deeper into the woods. But the scent of blood and battle has attracted something far worse, as a monstrous serpent is drawn to the mayhem. His plan is working perfectly. Every wolf in the vicinity is now locked onto him. He pushes off, a blur of motion leading the hungry pack deeper into the woods. Our boy is completely in the zone, his mind already 10 steps ahead of these beasts. Turns out, he wasn't just kiting wolves. He's gathered every E-ranked demonic beast in the area for a party. He then triggers a massive explosion right in the middle of the horde, turning the battlefield into pure chaos. But this was just the appetizer. He knows all this commotion was just to wake up the real boss of this area. And right on cue, one of the wolves gets absolutely demolished by an unseen force. Because our boy just led the entire mob into the territory of a B-level tundra bear, which is now in a furious state. The bear is completely enraged, its eyes glowing with pure, indiscriminate, destructive intent. It immediately begins its rampage, smashing through the trash mobs just as Bai had planned. While the bear rampages, our boy is having a field day, racking up kills and loot from the stragglers. His strategy is simple. Let the big guys fight while he just dodges and cleans up the mess. He's a blur of motion, stacking up experience and valuable materials with every single strike. Thanks to the brainless beasts and the rampaging bear, he dings a level up to E-rank 4. He muses that the bear not only drew all the aggro, but saved him a massive amount of stamina. But he knows for the EXP to count, he's got to be the one to deliver the final killing blow. With the bear's rampage finally over, the remaining horde of beasts turns its full attention to him, has completely gassed, realizing that even with the bear's help, this fight has pushed him to his limits. But our boy gets back on his feet, sword at the ready. Announcing it's time for the next phase, he faces the last of the wolves alone. Knowing the bear has done all it can and is now out of the fight, panting and sweating, our boy stares down the horde, a desperate but cunning plan forming in his mind. Suddenly, the very ground beneath the demonic beast begins to crack and splinter. The entire battlefield collapses, sending the bear, wolves, and serpents plunging into a watery abyss. Turns out Bai was the trigger, slamming his blade into the ice and telling the whole damn army to go down. He reveals he wasn't just blindly fighting. He was observing the environment the entire time. This wasn't a frozen lake at all, but a fragile ice bridge between two canyons, and the EXP notifications start flooding his screen. The kill feed scrolls endlessly as countless wolves and serpents are eliminated by the massive fall. Just like that, he levels up to E-rank 7, raking in stat points and a huge haul of monster parts. With most of the trash tier mobs cleared, he turns his attention to the few survivors. The enraged Icefield bear rises for one last titanic strike, and Bai prepares to face it with what little stamina he has left. He even scores a new title, 1 against 100, for a permanent 10% stat boost. This is definitely the fast track to power. But as he surveys the field, a critical question hits him. Whereas the final boss of this demon den should have a demon lord, and he wonders if all the commotion was enough to wake it from its slumber. The remaining bear and wolves are just trash mobs, so has baffled as to why the true leader hasn't appeared yet. Suddenly, the beasts begin to howl in agony as a mysterious blue energy erupts from beneath them. Our boy is completely dumbfounded. He recognizes this power signature as high-level ice magic. A massive wave of ice spikes bursts from the ground, engulfing the last of the monsters, confirming his suspicions. The sheer scale of the attack is on another level, far beyond anything the bear could have produced. Amidst the chaos, a shadowy figure flashes across the icy terrain at blinding speed. As the bear is brutally impaled, Bai realizes the true boss wasn't sleeping. It was waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. The bear was just bait, a frozen monument to a meticulously laid trap. Bai plummets downwards, realizing this was a calculated, inescapable opportunity for his hidden foe. The ice shatters beneath him, but it's not a sign of victory. It's the trap springing shut. Our boy is completely dumbfounded. The sheer cunning of this enemy catching him off guard. He lands on what he thought was solid ground, only to realize the ice bridge itself was part of the ambush. The real boss was just waiting for the perfect moment to swoop in and steal the kill. And now our boy's legs are freezing over. He grits his teeth, furious that such an intelligent creature is hiding in this supposedly low-level cave. Suddenly, a colossal shadow looms over him. The true demon lord finally making its grand entrance. Turns out it's not just one boss, but a whole squad. A D-rank cave lord and his 2 E-rank lieutenants. The king of the azure forest smirks, its glowing red eyes promising a world of pain for the trapped human. Despite the freezing trap, our boy's eyes burn with defiance. He's not going down without a fight. The cave was labeled Frank, but it's clearly a high ambush zone with the king and his goons waiting. He can feel his body heat fading fast, realizing he's on a timer before he becomes a permanent ice sculpture. The Ape King doesn't even bother moving himself, simply gesturing for his underlings to finish the job. One of the E-rank lieutenants lunges forward, axe raised high, aiming to shatter our boy and the ice in one blow. With the massive beast bearing down on him, Bai knows he has only one desperate option left. He focuses all his remaining energy, preparing to unleash a power he's kept hidden. The king watches with a cruel smirk, absolutely certain his prey is finished. But in a burst of energy, the ice prison explodes outwards as Bai dodges the attack at the last second. The cave lord is completely dumbfounded, his smug expression twisting into pure shock. Turns out that last-second dodge was actually a perfect block, a high-risk move that can reflect damage right back at the attacker. He had to use the shatter skill, burning through a massive chunk of his stamina just to break free from the ice. Our boy knows a powerful spell like that has a long cooldown, giving him a precious window to strike. But the Ape King is already furious. He slams his staff into the ground, not casting a spell, but summoning something from the depths. Suddenly, the ground erupts as a monstrous ice-field bear, a B-rank beast, bursts forth with a roar. Bai is completely stunned. He was prepared for apes, not a colossal demonic bear. The sheer size of the beast is terrifying, towering over him like a mountain of fur and ice. Yet, with no path for retreat, our boy grits his teeth and charges forward, screaming for the beast to come and get him. He knows his stamina is shot, fighting the two lieutenants and this monster head. Almost be suicide. Turns out the Ape King wasn't just summoning one beast. He brought his entire trash tier army to the party. With no time to waste, our boy makes the first move, his blade flashing across the ice to meet the oncoming horde. He barely parries a brutal strike from a lieutenant, the grim reality hitting him that his chances of winning this are absolute zero. The two hulking ape warriors immediately close in, boxing him in with their overwhelming size and strength. They give him no room to breathe, unleashing a relentless flurry of savage attacks. He desperately dodges and weaves, his stamina already hitting rock bottom as he avoids a crushing blow. Hess completely gassed, realizing with dread that he can't even muster the strength to stand properly. And as if on cue, the colossal icefield bear sees its opening and charges in for the final kill. But even on the brink of death, the defiant fire in his eyes refuses to be extinguished. He grits his teeth and braces for impact as the mountain of fur and ice descends to crush him. Just as the bear is about to hit, a massive beam of energy erupts from the cave lord, narrowly missing our boy. Bai grits his teeth, the sheer pressure of the attack, forcing him to his knees. His inner voice screams at him. The freezing cold has pushed his stamina to its absolute limit. But the Azure Forest King just cackles, already charging up another devastating spell with malevolent green energy. The ape boss unleashes its ultimate skill, Ice Storm Raid, a colossal attack meant to wipe him off the map. Bai is dumbfounded, his mind reeling at how this monster can possibly have such a short skill cooldown. He's completely outmatched, but the look in his eyes says this fight is far from over. His shock quickly turns into cold, hard focus as he analyzes the impossible situation. He flashes back to his past life, remembering how countless desperate battles trained him to find opportunities in chaos. Back in the present, he knows he has two options, and staying to fight is a one-way ticket to the grave. With his back against the wall, he coldly calculates that his chance of survival is absolute zero. So, he chooses option 2, a full-blown, desperate retreat. He uses every ounce of his remaining energy to bolt across the frozen wasteland. But the Azure Forest King's magic is faster, instantly freezing the air in his path. In a flash, our boy is caught and encased in a solid block of ice. The ape boss seems almost surprised, not expecting its prey to just turn tail and run. The other demonic beasts of the cave, the Icefield Bear and its wolf pack, can only watch the scene unfold. His frozen body plummets into a dark, seemingly bottomless abyss, marking the end of his fight. Suddenly, the silence is broken by the gentle creak of a door opening. It's his mother peeking in and wondering why he's sleeping in so late on a weekend. His mother is dumbfounded, calling out his name in a panic. She finds his room completely empty on a Saturday morning, which is highly unusual. On his neatly made bed, she discovers a hastily folded note. Her heart sinks. He'd never leave a note just to visit a friend. Something is terribly wrong. She recalls how different he's been acting lately, a deep sense of unease washing over her. Back in the frozen abyss, a single bloody bandage floats ominously on the icy water. Turns out our boy had a master plan all along, collapsing the ice bridge under the enemy's feet. Nearly 100 demonic beasts, from ice wolves to shadow serpents, plummeted into the darkness. Suddenly, a hand bursts from the ice as Bai coughs, having survived the impossible fall. A system window confirms his victory. He's cleared the S-rank dungeon and is about to get some insane rewards. Coughing up icy water, Bai realizes the EXP gain is too low. About 40 demonic beasts must have survived the fall. We see a flashback of his desperate plunge into the darkness. His entire plan hinged on the hope that a river existed at the bottom of the cliff to break his fall. He plummeted through the last layers of ice, his gamble paying off. Turns out crashing into the freezing water was his only shot at surviving the insane drop. Now having dragged himself ashore, his body is failing, hit with hypothermia, blood loss, and a weakened state. He's freezing to death and bleeding out, the damage from the fall catching up to him fast. Our boy feels his consciousness slipping, wondering if he's finally reached his limit. He collapses onto the frozen ground, his body finally giving out against the brutal cold. But just as his vision fades, a monstrous saber-toothed beast emerges from the blizzard, ready for an easy meal. Turns out this trash-tier luck of his led him right to the den of a glacier overlord, an E-class cloud element beast. As his consciousness fades, his life flashes before his eyes, starting with an old swordsman buddy chiding him for not sharing a drink. Then he sees another of his fallen comrades, a brawler who just wants to give him a big hug. A memory of a young scholar from his team pops up, cheekily suggesting they sneak out for some fancy food. The face of his old ally, Lucian, appears next, asking for his help, analyzing some crucial data. The visions shift from his past life to his new one as his mother's gentle voice asks if the wound on his head still hurts. But the warm memories are shattered by the psychic presence of the Azure Forest King, who sadistically crushes the last remnants of his will. Suddenly, the faces of his bitterest enemies flood his mind, starting with a smug, eye-patch-wearing bastard telling him to go to hell. The traitor gardener joins the chorus, his silhouette a haunting reminder of the betrayal that cost him everything. One final enemy appears, a muscular figure echoing the same curse. As our boy's world finally fades to black, as his world goes dark, a voice tells him it's over. But our boy digs deep, screaming internally that he cannot have limits. The massive glacier overlord lunges in for the kill, seeing only a broken meal before it. But Bai snaps back to life, smashing his fist right into the monster's jaw with everything he has left. The beast is utterly dumbfounded. This half-dead human was supposed to be easy prey. With pure fury in his eyes, Bai vows that he will never let the regrets of his past life be repeated. He remembers losing everything once before, and that memory fuels his desperate struggle. He's already died once, and the sheer humiliation of that failure is now his greatest weapon. Channeling all that pain and rage, he unleashes a lightning-fast kick. He roars that he will never die again, as his foot connects, shattering the beast's icy armor in a spray of blood. The raw, desperate power of the impact sends the colossal glacier overlord hurtling through the air. The kick took everything he had, leaving our boy on one knee, gasping for air in the freezing wind. He grits his teeth, pushing past the pain as his body screams in protest. But as the glacier overlord lies defeated, a golden aura erupts from its body. Turns out a near-death experience can trigger a class. Up, the beast rises again, its power magnified by the spirits of the ice field. Now a true apex predator. Yet Bai just smirks, realizing this was his goal all along, to manufacture a truly hopeless situation. He recalls every insane risk he's taken, all to corner himself against an army of monsters. It was all a desperate attempt to reclaim the adrenaline rush of a real life or death battle from his past. As his adrenaline spikes to its absolute maximum, a system notification finally appears. He tries to force a class advancement, but fails. Yet, in a twist, he unlocks a brand new advanced skill instead. He thinks to himself that while the class advancement failed, he managed to acquire an ultimate skill ahead of schedule. His blade begins to hum, glowing with an immense golden power he's never felt before. The system confirms it. He's unlocked the Nucleo Holy Swordsman skill, and with a smirk, he decides it's time to clean up the trash. With a gaze of pure cold focus, our boy readies his blade for the slaughter. The upgraded glacier overlord lets out a furious howl, charging straight at him. But Bai is already in motion, unleashing a brand new technique he calls Sanctuary. The Icefield Bear joins the assault, but it's already too late for these overgrown beasts. His Sanctuary skill explodes outwards in a whirlwind of golden light, tearing through everything in its path. He stands amidst the chaos, completely unfazed. The master of this icy domain, the system notifications go wild as his golden attack rips through the entire mob, instantly killing the Icefield Bear and every last wolf. Even the so-called Glacier Overlord is left as a mangled corpse, its reign ending in a pathetic flash of light. The divine energy fades from our boy's hand. The battlefield, now eerily silent. With the fight over, the rewards pour in loot, a level up to Sun Tier CE class, and a full stamina restore from his Sanctuary skill. He even unlocks a new title, Icefield Wanderer, granting him massive resistance to the cold and confirming Sanctuary is his new ultimate skill. Staring up at the chasm, Bai makes a silent vow to the Monkey King who threw him down here. He's coming back to settle the score. The system is still catching up, logging the last of the trash tier wolves he just annihilated. He can barely even feel the cold anymore, realizing that at his new level, E-class monsters are now a complete joke to him. Turns out Sanctuary is a countermove. It stores all the pain and fatigue he endures and unleashes it back tenfold. With his stamina fully restored by Sanctuary, our boy feels ready for anything. He begins the long climb out of the chasm, worried that his mom will be wondering where he's been. After what feels like an eternity, he finally pulls himself over the edge. But instead of the exit, he finds a strange, solitary hut sitting in the endless snow. The place is seriously creepy, decorated with what look like the skulls of other ape monsters. And sitting there, as if waiting for him, is the Azure Forest King himself. The Monkey King's eyes flash red, sensing that his prey has returned for round 2. But before they can exchange pleasantries, a massive ice attack shatters the side of the hut. Turns out Bai just finished off another Icefield Bear hit level 10 and is here to tell the Monkey King they meet again. Meanwhile, back in the real world, it's late at night and Bai's mother anxiously waits by the window. She's worried sick, wondering why her son hasn't returned home yet. A full dinner sits on the table, getting cold, as she just prays that he's okay. The scene snaps back to the Azure Forest King, whose meditation is suddenly interrupted. An explosion of pure ice energy blasts right through the wall of his hut. His lieutenants are on high alert, turning to face the sudden, violent intrusion. The corpse of a massive Icefield Bear comes sliding through the newly made hole. The beast is completely frozen over, steam rising from its fresh kill, and walking in right behind it is our boy Bay, stepping over the monster's body like a doormat. He's just hit level 10, the absolute peak of E-class, and announces to the Stun King that they meet again. The Azure Forest King and his Lacheus are completely dumbfounded, staring at the human who just used a B-rank beast as a battering ram. They can't process what they're seeing. This trash-tier human is standing over the corpse of a monster that could have wiped their whole clan. The king is absolutely seething. Realizing this isn't some lost kid, it's a genuine threat that just kicked his front door in. As if to mock them, Bai casually kicks the massive bear corpse, sending it sliding even further into their throne room. One of the lieutenants, a hot-headed E-rank cloud demon warrior, has seen enough and charges forward, ready to tear him apart. But our boy doesn't even flinch. His eyes glow with cold focus. Already predicting the beast's every move, he meets the attack with a simple parry, his blade deflecting the blow with a flash of brilliant green energy. Before the demon can even react, Bai slices straight through it. A system notification confirming the easy 70 experience points. The king is speechless, watching his E-rank subordinate get one shot like a complete nobody. Finally done watching from the sidelines, the D-rank cave lord roars and leaps into battle himself, his staff crackling with raw power. The king unleashes his ultimate move, a devastating ice storm assault that engulfs the entire area. But as the icy shards rain down, a system notification pops up. Bai is completely immune. Turns out his cloud element resistance completely negates the frost damage, making the D-ranker's attack a total joke. The Azure Forest King is left dumbfounded, his trump card having done absolutely nothing. Realizing his magic is useless, he desperately conjures a massive ice crystal. Changing his strategy, he slams it down, summoning a whole pack of hulking ice ape minions to swarm our boy. Bai just smirks, realizing that once he takes care of this trash mob, he'll finally reach D-class. With his swiftness proficiency maxed out, he activates Flash Blink, vanishing from sight in an instant. He reappears behind one of the apes, his blade slicing through it before it can even register his presence. The king can only watch in absolute horror as his reinforcements are slaughtered just as easily as his lieutenant. With the minions gone, our boy blitzes straight toward the Azure Forest King, who can't even react in time. The Beast Lord is left utterly broken, staring in disbelief as his life flashes before his eyes. Bai gives him one last cold look, his expression completely devoid of pity. He silently bids the creature farewell, knowing this is the end of the line for the so-called king. With a final flurry of golden slashes, he tears through the D-rank boss, ending the fight decisively. The system immediately confirms the kill, rewarding him with a hefty 1,000 experience points. And just as he planned, that XP pushes him over the edge, finally promoting him to a D-class nuclear warrior. He even gets a surprise bonus with an item effect permanently boosting his intellect stat. But then a new notification catches him off guard. He's accumulated enough cloud element energy for a new profession. A strange new power surges through him as a mysterious skill begins to manifest from all the elemental energy he's absorbed. Our boy is stunned. He's unlocked a red-tier profession, a cloud element mage whose power rivals his main D-class warrior job. The fallen ape king even dropped some starter loot, a D-class mage weapon and a magic pouch. As he picks up his new gear, the remaining 8 minions just stand there, completely dumbfounded by what just happened. He equips the new staff and pouch, and the trash-tier minions finally realize they're next on the chopping block. With a wicked grin and glowing red eyes, he thinks it's the perfect time to test out his new skills. He decides he might as well clean up the small fry left in the cave. The system confirms his switch to Cloud Element Mage mode as a crimson aura erupts around him. He's actually thrilled, realizing this is a profession he never got to experience in his past life. The scene suddenly shifts back to the real world. Early in the morning at his residence, we see his mother, her eyes covered by a blindfold, waiting anxiously for his return. He quietly pushes open the door. Finally, back home after his life-threatening adventure. The sound startles his mother, whose eyes instantly well up with tears of pure relief. She scrambles to her feet, completely overwhelmed to see her son standing there safe and sound. Our boy's heart aches as he apologizes for making her wait for so long. She doesn't need an explanation, pulling him into a desperate and loving embrace. He realizes with a pang of guilt that she hasn't even eaten, having been sick with worry the entire time. With a new fire in his eyes, he tells her he has a proposal that will change their lives forever. He presents a magic bag, explaining it's full of valuable loot he brought back from the dungeon. The scene then cuts to him meeting a shady-looking broker to cash in on his newfound wealth. The broker, Hong Chong-shan, inspects a crystal and throws out a ridiculously low offer, clearly trying to rip him off. But our boy isn't having it calmly.